we've become very good at what I call emotional gymnastics, bending ourselves backwards to understand everybody else's kind of issues, the background, knowing our stuff, and really taking accountability and kind of doing all this emotional gymnastics to adjust to people's bad behavior. But when it comes down to it, despite the deep awareness we have, sometimes we can really hesitate to learn our lessons. And actually, that can really mean less emotional gymnastics, but kind of really being able and ready to recognize when something is going on that shouldn't be going on and that keeps on repeating. Because something that keeps on repeating is a toxic pattern, right? Something bad that keeps on repeating. It's a lesson not learned. So if we're in a position to have that deep level of awareness and to be able to explain to others the part of the dynamic that they don't seem to get, and then the issue keeps on repeating over and over again, then what that shows is that essentially we're really hesitating learning our lessons. And that actually is where the work is, because the emotional gymnastics we can get a little bit too addicted to, too good at. It's almost like it engages our kind of intelligence and our brightness as women, and the analysis. We can bring all these years of analysis we spent in ridiculous amounts of money on, and really yet it might not be what is needed there. What might be needed is to really cut a little bit more closer to the chase and say, you know what, I've gone down this road a little bit too much, and for some reason I seem to keep on resisting learning the lesson. Why is this? And really get super radically honest with ourselves around it, and to stop avoiding by going into circles into all these other intellectual, emotional loops and gymnastics, but really avoiding to come to the core of, there's the lesson there. It's easy for me to do the gymnastics. I can justify so much of that than really facing what is there, what the lesson. And, there comes a time in our lives where we can't avoid it because we've gone over this over and over again. And there comes a time in our lives where we just have to just drop the chase around this, and to kind of understand that no matter how much we bend ourselves backwards to understand and help other people, or to really give all these excuses, actually when it comes down to it, we've really been doing that because we've been avoiding facing the part of the dynamic that we've been contributing into and learning that lesson. Because for whatever reason, that lesson could mean that learning it, you just can't sit on your bum anymore and you have to do something about changing your life. It could be that it means showing up more, dynamically. It could mean that, you're no longer allowing your excuses to run over your life. It means that you have to go and do the thing you've been resisting. So there can be so many reasons why we choose to resist the lesson. Yet it's really kind of, and rather than getting all kind of very, on the other side, going on the other extreme of okay, let's go and learn the lesson. Let's just not worry about anything else. So it's about approaching it in a way that is going to bring less of your defenses up. So it's really about being prepared, creating sacred space, creating safety to look at it and to dive deep into it a little bit more, and to really sit with the energy of this and the emotions of it as opposed to the intellectualization of it. Because the lesson is, first of all, learned on an energetic level. That's the foundational level. It needs to be learned on an energetic cellular level. And the intellectualization of it is just one aspect, but it's not really us learning it. So letting it drop, let the penny drop, and really kind of creating some space, even if in some cases you might need a little bit of isolation at times, right? Or creating a sacred space where you don't put yourself in situations where you're going to have to be faced with the fact that you're not facing that lesson, or those kind of repeated toxic patterns are created. That could be the solution. I'm a strong believer in this. This is why I work with the STEA, this alignment kind of a model that I work with women around, helping them to reclaim the power. It's all about understanding, becoming radically honest with ourselves as to what we keep on turning a blind eye on, and then really kind of creating sacred spaces around what really is of value to us. Because it's very hard to move away from things we kind of are stuck in if we don't have something else of value to step into. So creating that sacred space, building that sacred space, and then really putting those sacred boundaries so that we can start reclaiming that energy back, coming back to our power, creating that gap, minding that gap so we don't keep on going there. We don't keep on repeating those patterns that really keep us in perpetual stuckness. I really believe that, we are done with emotional gymnastics. This new paradigm, this new earth paradigm really needs us to be a little bit more wizened up around the lessons, to really start taking those lessons on board and to really start doing something about it. And then, of course, understanding our motivations as to why we keep on postponing doing so, because those lessons keep on coming to us over and over again. And if for whatever reason we're not really learning them, we need to kind of get curious about that process, not judgy, not critical, but just get curious, because curiosity opens up a lot more doors, whereas criticism closes doors. So lots of love for me.